Today's practice is going to be a lot of relaxation and passive stretching, passive opening, thinking about letting go and releasing. We'll also do a bit of balance work. Balance has been my theme for the month. As things out there in the real world are pretty stressful for a lot of people, and there's a lot happening as always. I mean, life is always busy, no matter what's happening out there. But it's a good time to shore up our internal practices of balance and restoration and putting just as much effort into taking time to rest, restore, regenerate, as into putting effort out there in the efforty things, in all the work and the pushing and the striving and getting things done and the chores and the stress. So sometimes it takes that dedicated practice of setting aside a time to relax. So we'll start in our constructive rest shape. So one block on high setting, one block on medium, and then place your bolster right up next to it. And if you don't have blocks or a bolster, you can make a little ramp of pillows or blankets and sort of stack them up so that it's firm and will support you fully. For my body, if I were to scooch right up here, it's a big gap from my low back. So I generally will place a blanket beneath my seat, either, 1 or 2 inches, or maybe a little bit higher, depending on how it's feeling. And then scooch your seat right up next to it so that there's no space between you and your support. Inch the feet wide. As a starting place, you can always adjust. Let the knees rest against each other and lie on back. And then wiggle around. Get your back body to really mold into and around the support. And then let your hands reach wide for a moment. Palms facing the sky, kind of extending through the fingers, palm shining toward the sky, reaching wide on the other side. Getting that stretch for the upper arm and chest, and then letting the hands drop down. Feel the elbows bend with gravity. Take a couple breaths to see if there are any adjustments, any shifts you might make to make yourself more comfortable. So if it feels like it's taking effort for the legs to stay here, feet wide, knees together, you might instead bring the soles of the feet in, knees together. A little bit more of a compact shape, or legs extended all the way. And also soles of the feet together, knees wide, this infinite variety of shapes. Always experiment and shift. And this is the most important part of our practice, this settling in and relaxation at the front of practice and at the conclusion of our practice. This signals to our nervous system that in this present moment, all is well. In this present moment, my biggest concern is, am I comfortable? Are my feet the right distance away from my body to support my low back? My hands comfortable? Do a gentle rising and falling meditation. And so as you inhale, feel every place that is facing the sky. Imagine it becoming a little bit more buoyant and spacious. From the face to the palms facing up, tops of the thighs, tops of the feet, the belly. And as you exhale, feel the long bones of the body drop down. The forearms, the upper arm bones, leg bones, the shins, long bones in the feet, even the head, collarbones, the ribs. So inhaling, cultivating that felt sense of lift, buoyancy, spaciousness. And then exhaling, allowing yourself to feel heavy and dropping in, settled. Allow the heads of the arm bones to drop down with your next exhale. Allow the navel and the belly to drop down with your next exhale. Sternum and collarbones soften and settle. And we'll begin a little box breathing with this rising and falling pattern. So take a deep breath in, cultivating that sense of buoyancy, everything facing the sky from the forehead to the tops of the feet. And a big exhale, everything touching or facing the earth, softening and settling. And then inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold full, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold full, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And pause, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, buoyant and soft and full. Hold full, expanding even more. Exhale, dropping down to the earth. Pause, sinking even further. Continue on your own, inhaling for 4. Pause for 4. Exhale for 4. And pause for 4. Noticing any place where you're holding on to tension. Invite the inhale to open and stretch. The exhale releases that tension, softening it, dissolving it, letting it drop down. If you'd like, bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly for a few rounds of this breathing. Inhaling into heart and belly equally, and exhaling, feeling them drop down equally. Let's take 2 or 3 more rounds of this box breathing, rising and falling. And then gently bring the fingertips behind the head and like tent the fingertips. So it's just the pads of the fingers, kind of cupping the back of the skull. Take a deep inhale, lift the chin just a touch. And then as you exhale, use the fingers to help lift the head and tuck the chin. Keep the elbows wide here. Let's take 3 breaths. Feeling the movement of the spine with the breath, movement of the ribs, sternum, shoulder blades. One more inhale and exhale. And then inhale, let the head come back down and release the hands wide. Stretch the arms pretty wide here, opening up through the front of the chest. Expand through the fingers. Stretch the fingers as wide as they can go. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then inhale, once again, bring the fingers to behind the skull and cupping the skull with the pads of your fingers. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, gently lift the chin toward the chest, draw the elbows toward each other. Not too much core engagement here. Let the belly really move, stretching through the neck. And then ever so softly, bring the right ear toward the right shoulder until you feel a stretch. You might not need to go very far. Again, let the hands and the arms do most of the work. So we're not engaging the belly and compressing the breath too much. Gently rock over to the left. And then release back to center with an inhale. And exhale, let the head come back down to your support. Inhale, reach the arms wide again. Press the backs of the hands into the earth, stretching through the front of the chest. And then bring the arms more up to a Y shape. And when the hands need to come away from the ground, let them come away from the ground. So the arms are reaching up and over into a big Y. Fingers still spread and active. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, this time the hands are going to come around the top of the head. So coming from the center, elbows hug in and curl in. Give yourself a little traction for the neck, like you're almost trying to pull your head ever so gently off the spine, curling up a little bit more into the mid back. Breathe into the shoulder blades. Keep encouraging the arms to do the work over the core. And then ever so gently, right ear toward right shoulder. You might reach a little bit more through the left elbow, extending the elbow forward to get a little bit of a deeper stretch. Inhale, come back through center, and exhale. Left ear a little bit over toward left shoulder, maybe right elbow reaches a little bit further ahead. Making sure you're breathing in and out through the nose, no labored exhales. And then inhale, come back through center, and exhale one vertebra at a time. Slowly float the head back down to your bolster. And then we'll start out inhaling the arms up to that Y shape, floating the hands well above the earth. And then exhale, cactus the arms, letting the elbows draw down in line with the shoulders. Let's take 3 breaths. Feel the engagement through the shoulder blades and upper back, through the muscles along the rib cage. One more breath in and out. And then bring the arms straight up over your face. So you're looking up toward your palms. And then we'll bend at the left elbow, sort of crossing over. So the left hand is going to come to the outside of the right shoulder. And almost like you're giving yourself a little bit of a hug. And then the right hand is going to clasp the left shoulder and draw it across the body for a stretch for the outer arm. So we're giving yourself a little bit of a hug. Right palm cups the left shoulder and then drags it across the body to the right. So we're stretching through the upper outer arm. Let the left shoulder kind of sink back down as the right hand pulls the arm bone across. Just getting a gentle stretch. And then inhale, reach both arms straight over your face once again. And then this time bend the right arm, and the right hand is going to come to the left shoulder, but this time the left hand is going to do the work, clasping the outside of the right shoulder. So left palm is doing the work, clasping the outside of the right shoulder. Drag that across, getting that stretch for the outside of the right shoulder. Arm might then straighten, that right arm might straighten as you drag it across. And let the right shoulder drop down a bit. One more breath in and out. And then inhale, reach both arms back up toward the sky over your face. And then we'll bend the elbows. Bring the palms down kind of toward the ears. Let the hands drop back past your bolster, getting a stretch for the triceps. So it's almost like you're doing a little overhead pull. Just letting the hands drop down over the back edge of the bolster. You might even let the hands clasp the bolster, elbows hug in toward the ears. Stretching through the back of the arms. This might be pretty intense. It might not be very intense for some. Another breath in. And then exhale, let the hands float all the way down to their starting place. Hands on the mat, arms a bit wide, reaching through the palms, and then let the elbows drop down. Let's take 3 breaths. Just anchoring our awareness in the body. Take a breath in and a breath out. And then use the hands on tops of the knees to help pull up. And then we'll round over the legs. So legs can be a little bit wide so the belly and chest can rest in between. Arms can hug underneath. Let the head hang. And then get the breath to expand into the back body, encouraging that spacious sensation. Muscles between the shoulder blades, and that triangle of muscle between the base of the neck, the shoulder blades, and the shoulder bones. Another breath in and out, feeling a stretch for the low back. And then inhale, sit up nice and tall. And then exhale, extend the legs. And you can stay lifted up on your support if you'd like. I prefer bringing something for this one beneath my knees rather than sitting up tall. And if it's helpful for you, you can turn to face your screen so that you don't have to turn your head as much. So, and you can bring your blocks to either side. So for me, what works best for this shape is placing something underneath my knees because I have a tendency to hyperextend my legs, but you can lift your seat up. We're going for some side stretches here. So rock on the sitting bones. You can also do this cross-legged if that's better for you. So sitting with cross legs or straight legs, whatever works. And then bring the blocks maybe on their lowest setting in line with the hips and kind of arms distance, easy reach. And so we'll sweep out and up. We're going to keep the sitting bones really grounded here. So tune into left side, right side, and then right hand finds the right side block. Reach straight up with the left and really anchor that sensation in your mind's eye in the sitting bones. And then come into a side stretch, tipping a bit over to the right, but keep the body long and tall rather than bending at the waist. Gaze forward or up, finding your breath. Legs are active but not locked. And then notice if your head's hanging or your chin's collapsing. Can you bring your ears in line with the heads of the arm bones? Breath in, come up, reach both hands up. Feel into the sitting bones and then exhale. Left hand finds left block. Press down into that block to reach straight up and then come over just enough for a side stretch, but keep the weight in the sitting bones equal. So I'm pressing pretty firmly down into the block, down into the right sitting bone to keep it from popping up. Another breath in. And then as you exhale, bring that right hand down. And then inhale, left arm sweeps straight up. And then here we're going to round at the waist. So we're going to kind of rock onto the outside of the left hip and round over. Let the arm kind of lead the bend like you're curling over a beach ball. Inhale, coming up. Reach both arms up. Exhale, left hand to left block. Can come onto the right sitting bone a little bit more, curling over, squeezing through the side body, head in line with the shoulders if it's tipping forward. Inhale, coming up, and then exhale over and curl. As you curl over, you can even look down over your right elbow and just see that your ear is there rather than over in front of your right elbow. Reaching up, coming over, curl, looking down, making sure your back ear and your top ear are behind that left elbow. Inhale, coming up, and exhale, curling in. Inhale, coming up, both hands reach up this time, and exhale, forward fold, let it go. And here, allow the spine to bend and round. Let the head go, let the shoulders slump, the head relax. Neck relax, shoulders relax. Feel the low back begin to open up and lengthen. And then root down and rise up. Shimmy it out a little bit. If you need to adjust the legs, like if your hip flexors are getting cranky, you can bring the knees wide, soles of the feet together, and prop up. So just adjust here for your legs, however is comfortable for you. There's no one right way. We're just going for some side stretches here. And then move your blocks a little bit more forward. You can always adjust how far, but maybe a foot forward doesn't really matter. And then we'll reach up. And then right hand comes to the right block, reach straight up. Keep the sitting bones even here. Come up and across, so up and over into your side stretch, keeping the side body pretty flat. And then again, notice if your head is compressing down, bring your head back up in line with the spine. So crown of the head in line with tailbone rather than in line with pubic bone. And then inhale, coming up. And then exhale, left hand to left block. Inhale, straight up. Keep the sitting bones grounded and go up and over with a pretty flat back, flat through the side body. Breathing into the side waist. Making sure the chin has plenty of space. Jaw relaxed. Inhale, coming back up. And then here we'll go into that more curved shape. So exhale, coming on a little bit more to the left sitting bone, reaching up and over and curling up and over. And then maybe turn the torso a bit toward the ground, turn the heart toward the ground. And then inhale, coming up. And then exhale over to the left, reaching up, and then come onto the right sitting bone a little bit, curl over, arm guides that arc, curling up and over, then maybe rounding a bit forward, firming down through the left palm for stability, for leverage, and then inhale, coming up, and exhale, curl over. Press down through the right hand to come up. And then exhale over to the left. Squeeze and round. One more time each side. Moving with breath. See if it feels better to open the heart toward the sky or if it feels better to turn the heart toward the ground. And then hug the knees once again. Bring the feet to about hip distance or a little wider. You might even scooch in a little bit closer and hug in. Wrap the arms around the legs. Bending the knees. Expanding the back. Expanding the breath into that whole low back, side body space. One more inhale and exhale. And then come on up, straighten the legs. Again, we'll come into a straight leg forward fold. So rock a little on the sitting bones, grab your blocks. And we're going to keep the blocks kind of wide and on their highest setting. Feet about hip distance. And we're just going to walk the blocks without letting the shoulders draw forward. So we're going to stay up, reach back through the sitting bones. So if it feels like you're tucked under, send your sitting bones back. So we're tipping the bowl of the pelvis over the heads of the thigh bones. Feet flexed a little bit. And then kind of notice where your chin is in space. If it's kind of tucked under, or can you bring the crown of the head in line with the tailbone? So you really feel open and broad through the chest. Make sure you're breathing. Another breath in. And then as you exhale, let's round, release the hands to the sides of the legs. Look down, curl the chest in, curl the head in. No need to force it. Just noticing what you feel there. A breath in and a breath out. And then press through the hands, come up, swing the legs around one side and come to table pose. Fingers spread wide, wrist creases facing forward, and the creases of the elbows more or less facing each other. So that place where you get your blood drawn faces each other. The eyes, the elbows face each other, bringing that little tug toward the midline to bring stability through the shoulder girdle. Check to see that your feet and your shins are about hip distance, tops of the feet pressing down, and then breathing in. Find your cow pose. And as we come into cat, sink the hips back, but go slowly. Hollow out the belly, press the hips back, reach through the hands. Inhale, bend the elbows, come forward through your cow pose. Heart shines forward, kind of leading the movement with the heart. Then as you exhale, lead the movement with the tailbone, scooping the pelvis under, pressing hips back toward heels. And at the very last moment, look back to fully round the spine. So as we come forward, we'll lead with the front of the body. So elbows draw down a little bit, gaze forward, roll the head to the arm bones, press forward, coming into your cow pose and maybe a little bit forward of cow. And then exhale, tuck the tail, rounding through cat, pressing the hips back, leading with the tailbone, tucking under, and then the head comes down last. Starting from the top of the spine, inhale, press the elbows down and toward each other. Sweep forward for your cow, maybe a little bit further of cow. Then exhale, strong core to tug the pelvis under, hips back. Complete the rounding, letting the shoulders drop down, head drop down. 2 more times, pressing elbows, sweeping forward, and then exhale to round. One more time. Starting your cow pose with the upper spine, mid spine, and then tailbone really lifts at the end. Starting your cat spine, tailbone first, pelvis, ribs, shoulders, pressing back toward child's pose. And then from here, we'll come into puppy pose. So bringing the hips over the knees, cross the forearms, let the elbows go wide, make a pillow of stacked hands, and then lengthen up and back through the sitting bones. So heart softens down, sitting bones reach up, thigh bones reach up toward the sky. Few breaths there. One more breath in and out. And then coming back into your child's pose, let the knees go a little bit wide, sink back any amount and reach the arms forward. So hips can stay high or hips can reach back toward heels. And then take an inhale, arms reach a bit more forward. Exhale, walk the hands off the right side of the mat. Reaching a little bit more through the left hand. Maybe the left shoulder drops down. Look down, pressing the hips back, reaching the hips back and around to the right to open up through the left side body. Breathing into whatever stretch is available there for you. Inhale back through center, stretching long, reaching the arms forward, maybe looking forward, and then exhale, walk the hands off to the left. Let the head soften down. Keep pressing down through the palms. We're active through the arms here, active through the shoulders. Hugging the left hip around toward left shoulder. And then inhale, come back through center. And then exhale, come into your rest shape, whether that's child's pose or puppy pose. And if child's pose, may sink all the way back and let the hands come back by the feet. Yogi's choice, checking in. Steady the breath. Let's take 2 more rounds of breath here. And then we'll combine that cat and cow, sort of that extended cat and cow with our side stretches. So inhale, coming up through table. And as you exhale, really stabilize your tabletop. Take a moment to arrive, zipping up through the belly, sides of the waist, lengthen and lift up. And then inhale into your cow spine, drawing forward, look ahead, look up, and kind of complete the cow spine by lifting through the tailbone. And as you exhale, lead the movement with strength of the core, tuck the tail, sink the hips back. And then inhale, reach the arms forward. Exhale, walk the hands off the right. Take a full inhale and exhale here. Maybe with your inhale, you lift the hips a little bit, coming almost into a cat spine, and exhale, sink the hips back down. Inhale through center, reaching the arms forward. Exhale, walk the hands off the left. And then inhale, rounding the spine like a cat, feeling that nice stretch through the armpit, through the shoulder, through the sides of the waist. Exhale, sink the hips back down. Inhale, back through table. And then exhale, hug the waistline in and up. Inhale into your cow. Shifting a little bit forward. If it feels okay, maybe go all the way into a cobra, keeping the elbows bent. Exhale, bring the hips back. Tuck the tail round through the upper back, looking back toward the knees. Inhale, extending the arms forward. Maybe the hips lift, maybe they don't. Exhale, walk the hands off the right side. Inhale into that cow or that cat shape, rounding, maybe lift the hips. Exhale, sink back down, feeling that deeper stretch. Inhale, reach the arms forward, coming back through center. Exhale, walk the hands off the left. Inhale, rounding through that cat spine, maybe look back toward the knees. Exhale, heart softens back, hips reach back. Inhale, back through table. And then exhale, strong spine. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, shifting forward, maybe drop, bending the elbows, coming more into a cobra. Press through the heels, sink the hips back, or press through the heels of the hands, sink the hips back into your cat spine. And then inhale, reaching forward. Exhale, walk the hands off the right. Inhale into your side stretch cat spine. And exhale, sink the hips back. Inhale back through center, reaching the arms long. And exhale, walk the hands off the left. Inhale into cat spine. And exhale, soften down. And this time we'll come back through center, inhaling and just find rest, whether that's puppy pose or child's pose. Letting go of all of that effort. One more round of breath here. And then we'll come forward through table and then to our downward facing dog. Taking your time, pressing through the arms straight and strong, a long line between hands and hips. So if it feels like your shoulders are a little bit more over your wrists, press into the palms and shift the hips back. Sending the heart a bit more toward the thighs. If the shoulders are pinchy, you might widen the distance between the hands. The hamstrings are tight, soften the knees, lift the heels. And then make your way into a forward fold, either walking feet to hands or hands to feet. Clasp opposite elbows, hang in a nice surrendered waterfall pose, bending the knees so deeply that the armpits drape over the kneecaps, dropping the tailbone, and then let the arm bones be super heavy in their sockets. Let the head be really heavy there as well. And then bring the fingertips to the base of the skull, just like we did lying down. Give yourself a little bit of traction. And then ever so gently, right ear toward right shoulder, then left ear toward left shoulder curls in. Come back through center. Inhale to a flat back. And here we'll find kind of a cow spine. So lift the tailbone, lift the gaze, let the shoulders roll back. And then exhale, round into more of a cat spine. Press through the feet, rise, sweep up. And exhale, hands to heart. Take a full inhale. And then exhale, let the hands drift by the sides. Another breath in. And a breath out. So step to the top of the mat. We'll play with another couple variations of our cat and cow spine. So big inhale, sweep up. And then send the hips a bit more forward. Exhale, come into a little bit of a back bend. So hips forward, lifting up through the tailbone, sending the heart up. And then exhale, round through your cat spine. So we're rounding, arching the spine. And then inhale, finding your cow spine rather than a flat back. Yeah, so we're lifting the tailbone, lifting the shoulders, dropping the shoulder blades. Exhale, round into your cat spine, your forward fold. Tailbone tucks a bit, head drops down. Hands find the mat. Step into your downward facing dog. And then here we're going to come into our cow spine. So look a bit forward, let the elbows drop down, let the tailbone lift. So same two shapes. Exhale into your cat spine, rounding, shoulders come forward, rounding through the spine, tuck the tail a little bit. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, lifting the tailbone up and back, press through the hands, drop the heart, lift through the tailbone, look ahead. And then exhale, rounding, shoulders come forward, hips come forward a bit, arching the back or rounding the back. Inhaling 1 more time, shoulders drop back, heart sinks down and back, hips reach up, tailbone reaches up, and then exhale to round, hips move forward, shoulders move forward, and then walk feet to hands or hands to feet, forward fold, let it go. Beautifully done. Clasp opposite elbows if that feels good. Rock side to side if you'd like. And then inhale to your flat back. Exhale to fold. Root to rise, sweep high. And then exhale, hands to heart. And then we'll come into a couple balance poses as promised. So step your right foot in front of your left. So do heel to big toe. And if straight away that's like, oh, balance beamy, just separate your feet a little bit wider. But heel in line with the big toe, either heel right in front of big toe or step your feet a few inches wide, either way. And then hands to heart, soften. And then we'll gently shift our weight forward and back. So into the back heel, all the toes lift. Then bring the weight a little bit more into the front heel, all the toes lift. You can even wiggle your toes. Just notice what's happening in the front of the hip, in the back of the hip, in the glutes. Keep your hips square. And then bring your weight midline so it's equally distributed through your heels, through the base of your big toes, through your pinky toes. Soften the knees. Find your balance here. Maybe extend the arms up overhead. If you need a little bit more challenge, narrow your stance. Bring the right heel in front of the left big toe. Two more breaths. Keeping that weight really evenly distributed front and back. And then we'll come into like a galloping horse or an airplane shape. So hands reach back, heart reaches forward. Soften the knees. Really reach back. Nice flat back, little nod at the chin so the spine is long. Make sure you're not death gripping with your toes. And then come on up. Step the right foot behind the left. Start with that big toe to heel alignment. See if that balance settles out or if you need to inch one foot a little bit wider. And then we'll rock a little bit forward, rock a little bit back, keep your toes lifted. So we're just seeing if we can keep the weight in the balls of the feet and in the heels rather than jamming into the toes. The toes are just little outriggers. Soften your knees. And then stabilize. Straighten. Hands to heart if you'd like. Reaching up if you'd like. And if it feels like you might be reaching more forward than up, reach the arms more out to soften the shoulders so that you really feel lifted more than reaching kind of forward and shifting your weight with your arms. Just let the arms be midline, in other words. And then just as we have that nailed, we're going to go into that galloping horse shape. So really tune into the feet. So as the weight of the body moves forward, we're going to have to press through the back foot more to keep our weight distributed evenly. Shift into your flat back. Zip the waistline up toward the sky. Make sure you can breathe. And a little nod of the chin so you're looking more forward and down. Almost like you're kicking back and down through the back foot to keep the weight equal. Also a big hamstring stretch. And then root down, rise up. Separate the feet. Find your mountain pose. Breath in. And a breath out. And then walk your feet to the edges of the mat, big toes at the edges of the mat, heels in a little bit. And we'll come into a bit of a squat. So bending into the knees. And as you do, let the knees track over the center of the foot. So coming wide any amount, sinking down. Heart stays lifted rather than tipping forward. Lift your toes. Coming down any amount. Keep opening through the inner thighs by tucking the glutes a bit under. And then pressing back up. Shake it out a little bit. Let's do that one more time. Go to your comfort. So turn the knees a bit out. Tuck the sitting bones under a little bit to keep the bum from popping out. And then if it feels okay, hinge at the hips. So sitting bones back, heart forward. Only if it feels okay. And then press through the heels, come on up. Heel toe it in. Shake it out. And then to reverse that external rotation, we'll go to internal rotation. So turn your left toes in and then bend in a little bit. Just turn and then turn your right toes in, bend that knee a little bit. So getting a little bit of a turn, a little bit of a turn, a little bit of a turn. Shake it out. And let's come to a seat. Nicely done. Let's get another stretch through the upper chest and shoulders. So feet about hip distance. Bring the hands in line with the hips. So middle fingers in line with the hips, or maybe a little bit wider. And roll the heads of the arm bones back. Press up through the chest. Pull the elbows toward each other. And then begin to sink back just until you get a stretch for the chest. So I'm really pressing down into the palms. Elbows hug a little bit toward the midline. Maybe a little rock side to side if that feels good. You can also tuck the chin and look down, can give you a nice stretch there. You can bend more deeply toward the earth for a little bit more intensity. You can also press up, hug in, straighten the arms, stretching a little bit more through the biceps. And then sit up nice and tall. Roll the shoulders. Nicely done. And then let's come into our final relaxation. So if you'd like, come into a bit of a heart opener over your blanket. So you might roll your blanket up. This might be a lot. We'll see how that goes. And that's going to go right beneath the shoulder blades. Bolster can go on blocks. Bolster. Nice setup there. Scooch sideways of your bolster and then bring your legs up and over is how I like getting in there. I find it the easiest way. And then you'll bring this heart opener roll right at your shoulder blades. So the shoulders roll up and over, just opens up through the ribs, opens up through the chest. Arms can go wide. Legs about hip distance or a little wider. And if that's too intense, you can flatten the blanket a little bit. You can adjust where it is on the back, whether it's a little bit higher up or a little bit lower. Let the shoulders drape down. Maybe arms to cactus or goalpost. We'll return to that same breath pattern that we began with. And inhaling into every place facing the sky, the tops of the thighs, the shins, the tops of the feet, the tops of the toes, the forearms. And exhaling, softening, settling, sinking in more fully. For a few breaths, inhaling for 4. Hold full, continuing to feel expansion. Exhale for 4, softening, sinking, releasing. Hold empty for 4, letting go completely. And beginning the cycle again. And then allow your breath to return to its natural way of being. You can gently lift the back and take away that support if you have that there, letting the back lie flat for a few breaths. If it feels good, bring hand to heart, hand to belly, breathing into the hands equally, equal parts breath in, equal parts breath out. Calling into mind any place in your life where you'd like to bring a little bit more balance. Right balance of effort and ease, right balance of good, clean living and living it up, right balance, introversion and extroversion for you. What would feel most balanced for you today? And if it feels right, set an intention to create balance, creating your perfect playlist. Take a breath in and out. Maybe take a big stretch, long, roll the wrists and ankles. Just kick my bolster over and then roll over to one side. Pause there. And then make your way back up to seated using the strength of the arms to help press away from the ground. And then once you're there, sit up nice and tall. Take a deep breath in, sweep high. And a deep exhale, letting it all go. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. I hope you have a beautiful and balanced day today, everybody. I like the idea of creating your own playlist today. Just the right mix of stuff. Eat chips if you want to eat chips, but in moderation. All things in moderation, right? Even moderation.